Hey everyone, and welcome to the Game Week 1 team selection, the moment we've all been waiting for, getting to see my team since the first draft and kind of figuring out some of my thoughts going into things. I'm pretty set on this. It is still the 13th when I'm shooting this. Who knows? I might even be shooting another one before this, and then you'll never see this. Um, but obviously, any changes that get made to my team prior to um, the deadline, if this is already out, then the updates will be put on my Twitter page. But yeah, here we have what I think my starting lineup is going to be. Starting from the back, we have Vasquez from Empoli, getting the first start against Monza as my main keeper, starting keeper, I think was going to be Pepe Reina, but against Juve game week 1, I'd like to play Vasquez. He started in the Coppa Italia fixture for Empoli. Empoli did well in that match. They have a chance against Monza. Monza couldn't score in their Coppa Italia match, so I'm hoping for a sneaky little clean sheet, or maybe a half clean sheet at least there. Along the back line, we have Danilo, which hasn't changed since the first draft. Same with Teo Hernandez and Denzel Dumfries. Who has changed is I have Mancini at the back. I'm going to put my second Roma spot at the back with all of their great fixtures. I could see them keeping some clean sheets. And I have Jim City in for Scalvini. I forgot Scalvini has like a terrible injury right now. Won't be there for a good portion of the first start of the season. But I did want the Atalanta defender. Next up, we have our midfielders with, I think most of this has gone unchanged, except for one. I have put Yildiz in for Fajoli. I think Yildiz finally played some preseason minutes. I do think he will be in the starting 11 so long as these other players aren't being signed. We have also Zaccagni, Nico Gonzalez, who, if he goes to Juve, it could be interesting because I could have 3 Juve players in my squad at once. But I hope this decision is made quick because I don't want him not playing for Fiorentina as well. So I want him playing on one of the teams. I don't really care which one fantasy-wise. But if he does go to Juve, I will have to move on from either Danilo, Yildiz, or Gonzalez with my next transfer. But I could have 3 Juve players at the start, which could be cool. And then I got Dybala as well. Again, this is brought up in a couple of my videos. People are saying it's too expensive for him. When he plays, he produces. And if he gets injured, it's not like he's starting off really well and to find a way to get to him. I can literally move to any midfielder from Dybala. So it would be good. My other midfielder is Ederson as well. I just liked his production, his consistency last year, and he's cheap and allows me to move money elsewhere. One thing as actually, I'll finish the squad and then talk about it. Obviously, I have Lautaro Martinez in there, although I am thinking I'm going to be captaining Castellanos this week. I used to have Tammy Abraham in here. I've moved him on. I don't want to go straight to Dobvik. So I moved my other Roma spot down to Mancini, and I have Castellanos up top for Lazio, as Lazio also has really great fixtures to start the season. Lastly, I have Moise Kean. There's a lot of starting strikers in this 5 mil range, but none are really on as high profile of a club as Fiorentina. Retegui is a million more on Atalanta. But I am just excited to see how he does at Fiorentina as well. Having watched him quite a bit playing on Juve, I do have high hopes for him and hoping this Fiorentina can make more of a Champions League push this year rather than trying to just scrape into Europe at all. And that's kind of where my team sits right now. I guess this is not the actual full view, but just to show that nothing's crazy here. I have this captaincy on Castellanos. I have the vice captaincy on Lautaro Martinez right now. I'm hoping I don't pay early for that. But Venezia looked horrible in their Coppa Italia fixture. Hopefully between Castellanos and Zaccagni, they can really take advantage of that. One concern I have with this team is if you look, like, I don't really want to bench anyone other than Pepe Reina right now, and that'll be consistent throughout the first two. So I'm hoping I can roll transfers in my first 2 games of the season. What gets a little complicated is that third match week of the season where every big team is playing every other big team. I will not be very happy with any of my players' fixtures except for Fiorentina, I don't think has a massive match that week. And I get one of my keepers in. All of the other teams, Roma, Juve, Lazio, Napoli, Milan, and Inter, I think all are all facing each other in some way. So it really comes down to, am I going to start moving on from these teams? Because a lot of these teams still have good fixtures after that week as well. Um, but it's just the fact that all of these teams have these games in the same week. So if you're like me and having just basically players from the heavy hitting teams right away, you're just gonna have to make the decision that game week 3 could be a really terrible week. It could also be a very attacking week and it still go fine, even if you have all those players, and it's just maybe not so great for the defenders. It's probably a game week where you play 3 in the back. Um, but you might have a low score. It just might be consistently low scores throughout. Everything in your rank might not drop that much, or you could try to make some transfers and start moving on maybe some from some of the bigger clubs and grab some of the players that have emerged in the first 2 game weeks as solid players from the smaller clubs, or go for some differentials. It's really a tough decision for that game week, but if I have 2 bank transfers, at least at that point, I can make some moves to have some players that don't have as hard fixtures. And then obviously, like Lautaro Martinez is going to start regardless. Likely, Dybala is likely going to start regardless. Theo Hernandez probably going to start regardless. So you do have a lot of players in here that you'd play regardless of the fixture. Um, but then some that probably not. Zaccagni, Keane, those kind of players, I don't know if I'd want to play them if they're facing one of the top clubs as well. But feel free to show what your team looks like in the comments. I'd love to check it out, see what other people are doing, and I'll let you know if anything changes. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and I will talk to you after the game week 1 fixtures where we can see where we all stand. Lastly, please don't forget to join the group. Here is our YouTube group. We have 38 members so far, hoping that this number will be significantly higher by the time you actually see this video. Anyway, take care, and I'll talk to you again soon.